bellow on the bellow on the bellow.
Okay, everybody wants good love, that's true, I know. Derrick Jones about to break it down with the Relationship Gumbo. Welcome to the podcast. Ain't no doubt we all need this, ayy, cause better relationships need better ingredients, ayy. So if you want better relations, it's about communication, finding love, staying together. We all wanna make it better, yeah. Derrick Jones, the host, your relationship coach. Thank you all for tuning in. Relationship Gumbo, ayy.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Relationship Gumbo live podcast. Live. Yes, this is Derrick's channel. Or are you thinking it's Derrick? Has his hair grown? Just a little bit? He has glasses on. If you are surprised and just discombobulated, like what is going on? I want you to put some question marks in the comment section. We're going to get this wrapped up. Then we'll get to the real show. So this is what's going on. My name is Ursula. I'm a transformation life coach, as well as a mental health and wellness advocate. And each week, I promise to deliver relevant topics that affect our community. But more importantly, tonight is a takeover. It's a relationship gumbo takeover. So wherever you are, I want you to say hello. I want you to say, hey, Derrick, or put 100 emoji that's showing some love for Derrick. And you can catch his podcast, relationshipgumbo.net. Look at Derrick looking at me. I'm going to bring him on in a moment. But anyways, let me bring him on right now. And I want to introduce you to my special guest.
I'm the surprise, y'all.
Surprise! Oh my God. So we have relationshipgumbo.info if you want to see anything. She stole my thunder. She gave 100 over. You already getting love, Derrick. So this is a takeover. And what is going on is, as you know, Derrick has celebrated his 100th episode a week ago or so. But why does it have to be just that one day that we have to celebrate? We can do whatever we want. It's 2021, correct, Derrick?
That's right.
So that's what we're going to do. And if you don't know me, like I said, my name is Ursula. I am over Black girls getting their shift together. But right now, I'm going to get this podcast together right now. Derrick, thank you for giving me temporary reins of your podcast, sir.
I'm enjoying being the mystery guest. I don't have to touch anything. I can just talk. I'm loving it.
You can just show up, right?
Yep.
So everyone, remember, visit both of our podcasts. Also, go to our YouTube channels, more importantly. And if it's a replay, make sure type replay. And you still got to give those 100 emojis to show Derrick. All right, Derrick, how does it feel to be on the other side of the mic, sir?
It feels weird. It feels weird. You know, I go on other people's shows, but this is my show and I'm not in the driver's seat, so it feels weird.
So what inspired this was I was very moved by Derrick's 100th episode. I was very proud of him because I've been following him for a long time. And he asked me to be a guest on his show about a year. Oh, wait, before COVID.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
It's been a minute, though.
It's been a minute, but we've kept in touch. And this motivated me because, you know, I figure, why not just keep spreading the love? Why not? And, you know, I figure, why not do something different? So I asked him, I said, hey, may I be your host and do a takeover temporarily? And He graciously said yes. And here we are. So, someone said I have a mystery guest that is fire. That is Erica, Coach E. Hey, Coach. Long time no see. And here's another person. You may know her. I don't know.
I think I do.
Does this person look familiar? Sound familiar?
Absolutely. That's my cheerleader, my biggest cheerleader, wifey, Alicia.
Hell yeah. Alicia for president. Yes. All right, so we're going to have some Q&A. And just as a preface, to let everybody know, Derrick does not know any of these questions whatsoever. These are questions that I have thought of, and I'm going to ask Derrick every single question.
Uh-oh. Ooh, I'm scared.
That's after everybody shares this link to this live. All right, Derrick, you let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
I'm get to it.
Let's do it.
Let's get to it. Okay. Where do I start? I have so many. So, how does this 100th episode feel, like this whole couple of weeks?
It feels almost, I don't know what the word is, almost surreal. Because it's like, and you right on my heels, so we're going to be celebrating you soon. But
yes, sir.
I think it's surreal because you don't just think about like the 100 episodes. You think about everything you went through in the middle, in the beginning, and you didn't know whether it was going to work or not. You don't know whether you're going to build an audience or not. You go through, just like any other thing you start, you go through those moments where you want to quit. You go through some Wednesdays where you don't want to even turn it on and you just want to tell people I'm postponing it for a couple of weeks, and you just keep going. And those moments are the things that I think about, even when everybody's saying, yay, congratulations. I'm like, y'all really don't know this thing. Woo. But it's also surreal because, and I was thinking about this a lot today, not even because of the show, but just in general, because, you know, I have my Real Shop Talk crew, and we're
Uh-huh.
always like holding each other up, which I always talk about it's really like, I won't say unnatural, but it's something that I haven't experienced before, even in all
Mhm.
my years, just the camaraderie. But I was thinking about them. I was thinking about
What
you.
were you thinking about them and which kind of aspect?
Because I'm a traditionally I'm like I try to do everything, even though I'm married to Alicia and she's my supporter, as an individual, I'm a loner. And I've had to
Mhm.
be that for a very big part of my life, because not being a loner requires you to trust people, and people just keep letting you down. So you start to build yourself into an existence where you can function without them. And I just kind of rode that for so long. So I've been doing things on my own, and to have other people say, we got your back too, it's a little
Mhm.
different for me. All of you guys, really, but even
Yeah.
more so from the men, right?
Mhm.
For me to have a friend say I love you, like Tony Watts does basically every day, it doesn't, I don't, so it's like, but I embrace it and I accept it. The fellas, all of the ladies that support me, Alicia and everybody else, what I thought about it was, you know how when people say, in order for you to get the success, you have to serve first.
Yes, this is so
And then
true.
I thought about like all the connections that I have, you, Erica, the Shop Talk guys, and there's all of these moments where I remember without even thinking that I gave you either friendship, wisdom, helped you with some technical stuff, and I never asked for anything. And
May I interject?
uh-huh.
With the techie stuff, you are extremely gracious with that. Extremely. Because I can't remember how many times, like, Derek, how do I turn the computer on? How do I literally?
and to do all of that and to get all of this back, it's an unnatural feeling for me. I'm not used to it, but I embrace it, and I thank you all for supporting me still and being there for me. Like I said, I don't know this, but I'm gonna take it.
Yes, you have to embrace it. It's all about a healing circle, a loving circle, a respectful circle. And right now, the spotlight is on you, sir. You got
Right.
100.
That's right. That's right. Yep. We're gonna keep it moving. I'm not stopping.
Please
So
don't.
getting bigger and better.
If I had some confetti that I can just pull a string and let it fall, I swear to God I would do it. But I cannot right now. So what I can do is read some of these comments for you. And I see a lot of people coming in, but you know what I will really love? In addition to you coming in, make sure to drop those 100 emojis. Show this brother some love. So triumphant, I believe that's Tony.
Yep. Tony Watts.
We're in the building. And he said, this is fire. I agree, Tony. This is my bestie. Hey, Tashara, long time no see. And Tony, this is love right here. Amen. He is the best. And Erica, who I absolutely adore, she said, we must give each other their flowers while we're here. Give them their flowers or their 100s. Let's get to it. All right. And here we go. Peace, fam. Hello, Kent Logan.
Yes.
Thank you all for all your loving comments. Keep them coming in. And if you hear anything that just resonates, it has a light bulb moment, throw some light bulb emojis in there. All right. So, what made you want to start filming Relationship Gumbo before the branding? Like, what was your light bulb moment?
Well, I tell this story often because I think it's not my story. It's a story of either real or perceived failure. But I had another brand before this that I ran for like a year and change, and I thought I was doing it until I didn't. And
What does that mean?
that means I knew that it was amazing. There was some people that followed me that thought it was amazing, but the people I wanted to think it was amazing didn't think it was amazing, and that hurt. because I thought, how can you not like this?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got in my own head.
I'm gonna be nosy. Who did? May I ask who?
It wasn't like a singular who. It was a conglomerate who, like a big corporation, a big cable company that said that they didn't get it, and they had filmed this commercial with me and had their branding behind me, and they was like, you know, you paid us to partner with us to do this, but we don't understand what you're doing. It doesn't look like anything we've seen before. So we're going to take our name off of the branding behind you. If you still want the commercial to run, cool, but we're not attaching ourselves to you. And it hurt like hell. Because I was like, you know, you get excited. You're doing a commercial. You early in the business. Like, oh my God, this opportunity came up.
Right.
And I was like, if they don't like it and they're way up here, what the hell am I doing? And I thought about it, kind of shut down for a minute, and I was like,
what was your shutdown? What did that look like?
Detaching from the whole thing for a minute. Let's try to figure out, like, what was the next, like, if I can't do this, then what? Because that was my baby. I created that thing from scratch, and I was like, what else do I do now if I can't do this?
Right.
So, you know, it didn't take too long, but it was two things that I wanted to do. Well, a few things. I still wanted to help people. And I wanted to start a podcast. And I wanted to start, wanted to make some money.
Absolutely.
The brand that I had was a visual brand. And you can't do visual stuff on an audio podcast. So I couldn't do that podcast for the whole year. I always wanted to do it. So number one, I had to recreate myself in a way that was more digestible for people. So this is the engineer, the analytics of how I think. I took the fact that they didn't like it because when they saw it, it wasn't familiar to them. So I had to create a brand that was unique to me, but also familiar to you, so you wouldn't run when you saw it. And I took away the visual component so that I could start the podcast. And then I took, instead of me having a broad range of things that I offered, I narrowed it down to a niche of relationships and dating, and got my life coaching certification, relationship coaching, and I narrowed the field, made it more digestible to more people with that narrow field. Created the podcast and the life coaching business in tandem, and created Relationship Gumbo from that perceived failure in my head. It created something even bigger.
I love when you said that perceived, that right there, the perception of the failure. And to piggyback on that, Tashura said that's the best decision they made for you.
Yep.
And Erica's going to drop some bombs. Sometimes rejection is redirection to something greater.
Right. Yep.
And it was bigger than just you. Look at all these lives you have impacted and the people who you do not know.
Yeah. And even in the inception of Relationship Gumbo, even after the first few months, people saw it, laughed at it. How could someone who, even though I'm currently married, how could someone who was divorced before tell somebody how to be in a relationship successfully? Who are you? What kind of doctorate do you have? Your life experience doesn't really mean much. How can you teach people how to do things? And these were not strangers. These were familiar people to me.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Oh, yeah, like blood.
How did that make you feel? What it's coming from blood? Wow.
At this point, I had been doing the other brand for like over a year. Then I started Relationship Gumbo. So I already knew I wasn't no dummy. I already knew that the way that I, teach and translate things was my own unique kind of way. They couldn't take that from me. Like, I'm already there in my head at this point.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like how I view life. And the other thing of, when I talked about being a loner, I know how to detach. I've been doing that for decades. I know how to detach. I don't care if it's blood or not. So when I detach, the focus comes, and that's why I'm saying the people that before y'all, the people that would get close to me would disappoint me, and then I'd have to detach. So I got comfortable being by myself. So that's why I said this feels unnatural, because I was doing it so long. Like, I got Alicia right here, but outside of that, disappointment city. So I was like, let me just put my head down and move forward. And if somebody, it's just like in dating, if somebody qualifies to get in the gate, I'll let them in. I'm not gonna keep it closed. But damn it, where y'all at? where they at? I'm like, where they at? Let me just go ahead and do my thing and try to build an audience and blah, blah, blah. And then, then the magic of what happened, even coming into COVID and everybody being in the house, I got to meet people while we was all sitting at home.
How about that? And well, we will touch on, we'll put a pin in your second podcast, but that was the inception during COVID. I'm going to read a couple of more comments, which I'm absolutely loving. Triumphant TV says, excuse me, don't worry, we're about to either tell them no or make them give up a huge check. And She Stole My Thunder said perceived failure. I've been guilty of that, and definitely working on that as far as this negative self-talk.
Because I could have kept going with the original concept without re-engineering it and just said, forget everybody and do it. But my perceived failure made me literally stop, because I was like, because this is how the thinking. If they're all the way up here and I'm supposedly down here and I'm trying to make my way up to them, and I'm up here and they say nah, then anybody else up here is gonna say nah. So what's the point of even going up there? Because I'm looking for validation from them. It's a lesson I had to learn. I was looking for validation from the big people instead of looking at validation from the people that are in my audience and people that support me, that will push me up to that point. And once you get to that point on your, with your tribe, right? All of you guys, then once you get up there, they can't deny you, because now you have all of the 100 shows, you have all of the connectivity, and they're like, oh, he has a resume now. He has a resume now. So that is a lesson that I learned. It's not in seeking validation from people that don't matter. It's really about locking arms with the people that really rock with you and going. Because that's what I always hear about Issa Rae. She said our first instinct is to go try to link up with the celebrity. And she said she just found a bunch of people that was on her same level, that had the drive to go. And every show that she did, they was on that set doing something.
Right.
She with her.
See, may I share a story?
Yep.
So this story once I get into it, and I'm talking while you're talking, and I'm thinking about the perceived failure. So as all podcasters or YouTubers, we all have that. If the numbers are low, just the analytics of it all, or just trying to think of content. And so this rough patch I was having, I just fell into a depression. It was not too long ago. And I'm like, I just don't feel like doing this. Putting the perceived failure in my head that my platform wasn't as good. And then remember I told you about that email that I got? And to let people know, it came from MTV. So you never know who's listening whatsoever. And again, we both were looking for validation, but it was just from other people as opposed to looking at it from within ourselves, knowing we have a damn good platform. Yeah. And so a blind guy and his wife said, we have a pleasant surprise tonight. Thumbs up. Thank you. I'm going to need you to drop that 100 emoji in that comment box. And I have another question for you, Derrick.
Yep, let's go.
All right. Before the question, I'm gonna see if I can share this video because there are some new people on here. This is what Derrick knew about this video. This is the only thing that he knew that I was going to do, and it was to share how his original branding. You want to share the name with them?
So the original brand was called Card Logic, and the theory behind it was the way that I do like Relationship Gumbo. It was like, what if I could translate like relationship business info in a visual way? So I use playing cards to kind of create these little analogies. Like if I have a red deck and a blue deck, I could do analogies based on color. I can do analogies based on suit. I can do analogies based on arrangement. And it would like show you how your mind works in a visual way for visual learners, right? That was the theory, right? And it was amazing, but you had to see it to get it, right? So if I talk to you about it in public, this is why Relationship Gumbo is so powerful. You still would have to go see it. But now if I say I'm a relationship coach, you know what that is. And now we can go in. So this what she's about to show you was what I used to do in the old set. Like you look at this right here. When you see the other set that I was on before, I thought I was doing something. I had this little card cloth.
Let me just show the video. Don't describe it. And yeah, let me just show the video. You all bear with me. All right. There it goes.
And when it doesn't work the same way and we didn't make the same amount of money in 6 months that they did, we say, you know what, I quit. I didn't get it the way I wanted to get it, and I quit. But the way that we need to look at it, logically, tone that emotion down and tone the logic center of your brain up. And you have to say this. Now, you have this one way that you made blackjack, 21. Now you got to say, I got a whole deck of cards here. I have a lot of possibilities because there's a spectrum of ways for you to get to that same goal instead of just one way. So now we're going to take a couple more examples. You can get the number 8. You can get the number 8 again. You can get the number 5. And guess what that equals to, ladies and gentlemen? 21. Now you have 2 distinct ways to get to the goal. So now we're going to do another one. You remember the face cards are worth 10? Face card. Face card. And remember, the ace can be 11 or 1. We're going to use it as a 1 now. Guess what? 21 again. So now you have 3 distinct ways to get to the same goal of 21. So now you have to say to yourself, instead of quitting, you have to look at, and maybe it takes some market research, maybe it takes you looking at different examples and figuring out exactly what you want to do. But don't give up here when all of these other examples exist for you to get to the same goal. You have to expand your mind and look at it and say, this is my passion. Why am I quitting if I haven't exhausted all of my possibilities to get to the same goal? You want to be able to do that with most things in your life, looking at it through a different lens, stepping outside of your emotions and looking at logically, how else can I do this? In the IT world, we call it troubleshooting.
I love it.
I literally have like tears in my eyes right now because I remember the pain that happened right after that.
What was it?
That all the stuff I was telling you about. This was leading into the commercial, and I put in a year of just blood, sweat, and tears. Like I go live every Wednesday now. I was going live every Wednesday a whole year before Relationship Gumbo, like every day with no breaks, no seasons, none of that. And I literally created this thing from an idea. And I knew nobody on the planet Earth was doing this. And I was like, I'm going to make it work. And I put everything into it. And for me to let that go, even though Relationship Gumbo is amazing, anything you spend, it's anything you do that you spend a lot of time on, it could be a relationship. It still hurts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tashura said she just watched that video. And she also said, that, yeah, I've binged on those and they definitely have helped. Tashara, they've helped me also. I'm a very creative, visual person. So the cards did help. But as a podcaster, I do understand now why the cards would not work. But they are definitely effective for sure. Oh, and before we go on, if anyone has any questions that you'd like to respectfully ask Derrick, I will drop the link.
Bring them on. I'm ready.
Or if you want to come on or you want to put it in the comment section, we are open to all of that. Matter of fact, let me drop the link now, and then we will move forward. All right. So now that we are present day, actually, how'd you come up with the name Relationship Gumbo?
So
I never knew this answer.
So Tony. So when you starting your podcast, right, or you're starting a business, you gotta try to make sure nobody else have it and something catchy and all of that. So I was thinking about how I approach things. Mm-hmm. And how analytical I am, the engineer brain, and how I can kind of get to the little pieces and kind of change the trajectory of someone's relationship just by changing certain ingredients. And I was like, ingredients. And then I was like, okay, what kind of food do people just throw a bunch of stuff in and you don't even really know what's in there, but it ends up being good. But it
right.
Season it depends on what you put in there. And I was like, that's just like how relationships work.
Mm-hmm.
You come with your own pot of gumbo, and then you got to try to make it work together, and you got to figure out. And I was like, that's almost like a mad scientist trying to figure it out. And I was like, that's me. That's how I came up with it.
So, what have your listeners said? Like, what were their favorite, or what are their favorite relationship gumbo ingredients in these past 100 episodes?
What do they like about the show itself, or a specific episode that they like the best?
You know what? What I would say is, what's some buzzwords that you've heard them say? Like, I have mine, but that's a question for later that I am going to share with you. But I mean, it can be a sentence, it can be a word. It's up to you. This is your 100 celebration. It's whatever you want it to be, sir.
I think what gets the greatest impact is when I always talk about how a lot of things we do, we try to blame on other people, and I always point to the screen and I say, that's a you problem. And I think that sometimes when I do that, it kind of like jars what triggers people. And they're like, wait, because I'll say something like, when you're dating all of these different narcissists and you done got 10 under your belt, it's not them anymore. It's a you problem. So I enjoy doing those shows, because if we don't think a couple of layers deep than what we see around here, then we don't really get to solving the problem. It's just all surface stuff, and we got to get deeper than that. If we want to have deep connections, we got to go deep within ourselves to be able to blend together and have the right recipe.
Damn, that part. Yeah, because you can't have any bland ingredients. You got to spice it up. And, you can put the onion in the gumbo, but you got to peel some of those layers back to give it some flavor and some seasonings, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So I'm going to read off a couple of relationship gumbo ingredients that your listeners have enjoyed. Triumphant TV, Tony said, Ghost in the Home.
Yeah, the haunted house episode.
Yeah, that's a good ingredient, Tony.
One of the
Thank
most
you.
popular ones out of all of the 100. That one's one of the ones that shook people the most.
Okay, well, I'm with Tashara on this one. Relationship Gumbo needs to ask. You know what? We're going to get to that, Tashara. But the Billy segment, yeah.
You've always talked about that from the first time you heard about it. It was like,
we're breaking up. Derrick?
Yeah.
We were having a little technical
Can you hear me?
difficulty. So
Is it
while
me?
the, excuse me. Oh, there you
Is it
go.
me or you?
I thought it was you, but I think we're back on track right now.
Okay.
Billy did that because he didn't want anyone talking about him. Billy pulled the plug. That's why I don't like Billy. And if you all don't know who Billy is, you have to definitely go back to Relationship Gumbo and his episodes, and he will talk about Billy. Oh, and we did it on my show as well.
Yep. Yep.
Tashara also enjoyed the Relationship Gumbo ingredient of the haunted house. And Tony is laughing. I don't know why, but thank you for the laughs. So, speaking of onions and peeling layers back, Derrick, what is your favorite Relationship Gumbo ingredient?
So when you say ingredient, so here's the little. When you say ingredient, I think for me, the way that I'll frame this is what do I think makes the show special? What's the thing that makes it pop? I think the first few episodes, there's a distinct difference between that and like how I am now. And what make the main ingredient to the show is that I don't give you an inauthentic version of myself. I'm very open, I'm very vulnerable. I have a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge on a lot of things. And I don't try to college professor you with I try to give it to you raw, because if I don't, it's almost kind of like how you would want a friend to talk to you. You want that friend to tell you, even if it hurts your feelings a little bit, you want them to just let me know if my breath stink. Just let me know if this don't match with the pants. And let them give you that honest, raw opinion so that you could take that back and hopefully, if you need to, change some things. And I think people are tired of being talked down to, preached to. They want you to kind of let them know, like, hey, we're all here together. And I took that approach because that is more me than the college professor approach, which is what I evolved into over time because of my job, because just being in corporate America. And this is how you're supposed to perform when you're doing a business. And when I took all of that off and I just gave my organic self, that's when it started taking off.
There's nothing like organic ingredients to make that gumbo pop, right?
There it is. Yep.
Yeah. So Tashara, she also shared, she said, I finally figured out what he was running from.
That's the running joke. When you play my little promo thing in the beginning, I'm doing like this, and they're like, what are you running from?
I was today years old when I found that out. I did not know. I did not know that. All right. So what made you want to become a champion of love? I hear you mention that often. I'm a champion for love. And I like when you say, actually, I love when you say that, but what made you want to become one?
Well, so me being married for 11 years and going through that process and being in it that long and realizing what it really takes to go the distance. And while I'm in that state, I'm looking to my left and my right, and I'm seeing men and women fighting. They don't want no parts of each other. And so I'm thinking with my analytical brain, what does that environment look like 20 years from now? If we're fighting this hard now, will my 12-year-old daughter even know what love looks like? Will they even want to get married? Will they even want to be in a relationship if they're fighting each other and blaming everybody and nobody's talking, nobody's going out on dates? And I'm like thinking like, well, did our parents' generation teach us how? Did they know how? And the people that know how, do they then teach, or do they just keep it and just say, I'm over here, this is my space? Or do we give it to the community and say, we have to do better? And then when you do that, you find other people that are like-minded, and you say, let's do it together. Let's lock arms and do it together. I want to be a part of that, because I know for a fact that human beings are a social creature.
We are definitely pack animals.
We're supposed to be together, not apart. That's how we survive. You can't win by yourself. So in anything. So I wanted to be a part of that. And so that's why I value all of you guys that are in this community that we're building, because I think each one of us, to a certain extent, was doing it by ourselves. And now you're starting to see these connective things, and we all exchange ideas, and we're all on each other's shows, and we're giving our platforms to people and doing all of this stuff.
Right.
All of that stuff, it means something when people see it. When people see my 100th show and see all of the people that was on there that's rocking with me, pushing that narrative, I could have never, and it's not like it's 200 people, because it doesn't need to be. It just needs to be impactful.
And it is impactful. And these are just the people you see. Again, you don't know who is across the world. This is global now. It really is.
Yep.
I mean, you just never know. That's why we always have to continue to show up, because I believe it's bigger than us.
Oh, absolutely. 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 So, we go through our lives, we do some good things, we do some bad things, we hopefully learn some things. And on this end of my life, if I don't leave something behind, not just a kid, not just money, if I don't leave an impact behind, then it's like, what was I here for?
Oh, that's so true.
That's where that purpose comes in. That's where trying to really figure out where you belong in the world, and what value do you have, right? We all have value, but if you don't know what's unique about you and what you can extend, and here's the thing, you don't need to lead the charge. You can just be a part of the charge. That's something that we don't get. Like, I don't have to be the face, but I could be the engine behind the brand. I could be the person who motivates the crew that's on the stage. Like, we all have something that we can give. And that's something that I had to, as a loner, I'm like, okay, let me do the graphics. Let me do the marketing. Let me do and now we have a lot of different things like apps and different things that can help, and you can outsource stuff. But when you do everything yourself, how do you function?
Limited. I love what you said about the purpose and knowing it, because the last thing any of us would want to do would be on our deathbed and thinking that woulda, coulda, shoulda, as opposed to I tried. I probably failed, but at least I tried, or I excelled. But to be on the deathbed or in your 90s and just wishing you could have done better, that's not a good feeling. So I challenge anyone, if you, I said this last night, if you have that antenna just going off, and you feel that's universe, something is telling you to move, don't wait until you're 90 or you're in a hospital bed. Just, I could have done that. Move on it now. However, if you don't know, it's always okay to ask for help. We kind of touched on it, but how has this Relationship Gumbo movement changed or impacted your personal and professional life?
I still have to bring it back to you guys. Like, I don't know if Relationship Gumbo would be moving at this pace if it wasn't for y'all. Like, I could talk about Relationship Gumbo and how a Relationship Gumbo affects people's lives in the DMs, and we all get them, but just somebody heard a show and it made them want to get therapy. Somebody watched the show and it made them think about looking at their relationships or how and they're like, Derrick, I learned that from you. So in that in itself is motivation for me to keep going. But you guys, like real talk, some of you guys, I would sit back and be like, this is how you use StreamYard, or this is how you do whatever. And then y'all took that thing and just and I'm looking at y'all like when those moments when I'm like, man, and then I look up and your podcast is popping, Erica's podcast is popping, everybody's stuff is still moving. I'm like, I gotta keep going.
Yeah.
I gotta keep going. Y'all motivate me too.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Erica, I'm going to get to your question in a minute, but I'm going to jump ahead of my questions, but I'm going to let you know something that impacted one of your shows. Freaking game changer. I missed your show and I said, I'm going to clean my kitchen while I listen to Derrick. So I put my laptop on top of the microwave. I'm cleaning out the refrigerator and you started talking about attachment styles. I never heard about it. I never heard that term, not even in my therapy sessions. I didn't know. And when you were talking, it felt like this every word. And I remember I stopped and I think I had some bananas in my hand and it went like this. Because you said something about the anxious attachment. My God, that was a game changer. After that, I did a deep dive on attachment styles. From that day, I started going back in my dating history. I would have never dated anyone in my past. If I knew what I knew that particular day, if I knew that 20 years ago, game changer. I swear to God. And I ended up taking the attachment style test. Then I started having some insight on my parents and how my attachment styles are with my parents.
Yep.
Game changer.
It's huge.
I swear to God. Look, even from you making that one episode, I'm not going to get it now. I ended up buying the book Attached. So it literally was a domino effect from that one podcast to this deep dive and how I've made my shift with my dating, my new dating career. So now, I catch it. I catch bullshit like this. I'm like, no, I also catch the green flags as well and knowing what a secured attachment is, which is what I strive for and what I will attain. So,
and this attachment styles, and the love languages and the toxic love languages and all of these different things, it's really about you. If you can figure out you and what you want, who you are, if you're like, you do have the capacity to change and to do better. And if you know more about you and why you do things, when you go out here and try to meet people, you'll be like, nah, I already know. Yeah, I probably would have went for you a couple of years ago, but I know better now. And you start dodging bullets that you would have took and would have crushed your whole life. And now your whole life starts to look different because you see things now. And now the trajectory starts to look different. Even if you're not married, even if you're not in long term, you're not dealing with the bullshit like you used to. You like, And it changes your whole aura and your whole energy. And that's the energy that whoever's supposed to be with you, they need to feel that. So the goal is to get there. And that's why I do my show is if I can catch you before, or I can give you a revelation so that you can change yourself for the future, then maybe you'll be more receptive to a man where you might have swore him off. And now we don't have all of this detachment and fighting and all the other stuff I talked about in the beginning. Like we start to see each other different. So
absolutely. Tony made a great comment. He said, amazing. I took the test and damn near cried. Well, Tony, I took the test and I was bawling. Remember, I didn't even finish cleaning out my refrigerator. But once I started reading the book and the test, I bawled and cried. I had to release it because it was just a lot. But I'm so glad I listened to it. And Derrick, when he said, you feel like you dodged a bullet. And that's how I was feeling before. But now that I'm so fully aware and still learning about these attachment styles, now I'm looking at my past Ursula, like my body is literally bullet ridden. I had no idea. And from the mind of Cece, this made me laugh. Oh, wait. She says, I feel attacked. Girl, me
Because that's the thing,
too.
right? Here's the other thing about Relationship Gumbo, right? Very often people will say, I feel attacked. I feel triggered. I feel like you was talking about me. That's the point. The number one point is for you to identify the things that I talk about in yourself. And the second thing is now you have a community that show up in the comments and they're all saying me too. So now you get to visually see that you're not the only one going through the same thing. And now to a lot of the things that happen in the comments, I'll see those same two people somewhere else. And they're like, yeah, we talk all the time. And I'm like,
really?
That's it. That's the magic. Is that the community builds even when I'm not there.
Yeah,
People
it's like the evergreen.
People who have like stories and like personalities, they now have new friends and people that they talk to all the time that they didn't have. And they can now start to look at things that they need to work through and build outward. That's the magic.
It really is, because if I hadn't have read that or just listening to your podcast, say if I would have heard your podcast 5 years ago, if you were doing it, and when I hear you and Erica, for example, have banter, it would have gone over my head. Now I have different ears just from a community that I've surrounded myself with. So yeah, you are hitting a lot of people's souls with that, Derrick. Few more questions and then we're going to wrap this up. What's something that you learned from your guests? Has there been like one or a few different stories, or
the one that really stuck with me? Even it was recently. I had Bernadette Jackson, I believe her last name is, on the show, and she's the one that has the platform about fatherless daughters. And
trigger.
That episode, what I did not know, with all of this vast knowledge, what I did not know was we know what deadbeat dads are, but when she said being present and not emotionally available as a parent, as a father and or a mother, it has the same effect as if you're not there at all. That right there, I was like, wait, oh crap, yes. And so it's like, it's not just good enough for a parent to be in the home, because people can say I had both of my parents, and then you look into how they, when they wilding out and doing, not that you can't wild out if your parents are good or bad, but I'm saying the behavior could look exactly the same. I had no clue, because we think we got a 2-parent household that for the most part, they together. Hopefully they happy, but we know there's a lot of toxic households. But you could be in there and your kid not even feel anything because you're not giving them what they need. That shook my core that night.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, I grew up in a 2-parent household, and through therapy, I realized that I had an emotionally distant parent. And I believe when you grow up with a 2-family household, you have a home, they're feeding you, you have a bed, but those are just things that's the baseline. There was absolutely no boundaries were violated, like verbal, emotional. Yeah. And I will be transparent. I'm going to tell you this. I haven't told you. When you told me that you had that episode and I saw the flyer, I knew you were going to come with the fire. I did not watch it on purpose because I knew I was going to be extremely triggered. And I said, and I had a therapy appointment, I think a day before. I was like, you know what? I'm not trying to even be emotionally drained from that. So real quick question. She stole my thunder. I can't look for the link right now because I'm doing the live stream about the attachment style test. But if you put your email in a private chat, I can email it to you, or I can post it on my social media as well. Either way, but I definitely want you and whoever else has not taken it, and then go back and watch Derrick's episode about the attachment styles. And I swear to God, it's like a literal puzzle. It will be put together. It'll be a game changer for you. So you have options. Just let me know, but I will get that to you. Derrick, few more questions.
Yep.
We're gonna make it a little light now. What was your funniest episode?
Funniest?
Yeah, something that
that's a good question. I mean, I can't, if I don't count the 100th episode, I don't know. That's a good question. I have to think about that. Funniest.
Okay.
It might have been maybe one of the shows I did where I have panels. Like I did have a panel on like why do women cheat? I think Tony Massey was on there, another person named Maya, and we just we just had fun on that episode. We learned some things, but we also had fun. That one sticks out in my head too. That was one of the first times I met Tony Massey, like a year ago or so. So yeah, all of this stuff just comes full circle. But I think that most of my shows wouldn't necessarily be funny, but they're fun. That was the thing. Like I never wanted it to feel like you sitting on Dr. Phil's couch. I wanted to have organic conversation. That's the meat and potatoes of this. Like most people that come on as guests, they don't have a list of questions coming in.
Right.
If you have a brand, if you have a specialty, it's already in you. Let me worry about the questions. You already got the answers in you. Let's go.
Well, speaking of answers, we have a question for you from the lovely Erica. She said, I have a question for the analytical Derrick. If a person tells you that they live a happier life being single, would you be able to believe them?
So here's the thing, right? With this, I'm happy being single. I always say on my show, I'm no one's judge, but here's the thing. This is what we know to be true. Everybody don't need to be married. Everybody isn't meant to be in a long-term relationship because you got work to do. And a lot of times when people say, I'm so happy being single, for a lot of people, it's a trauma response. They're saying it because they know if they try to get into something that there's a very high percentage that they're going to get hurt again. Mm-hmm. So I have to say I'm happily single so you can stop asking me why don't I have a man or a woman. The other thing is there's another population of people that will say, I don't want no parts of anybody and I'm just happy being by myself. That person is not being honest. That person has to realize that we are, again, a communal people. So being by yourself means you're not really around friends. You're not even commingling. And I just want to be by myself. That right there, I call BS. Because even the most introverted introvert at some point realizes that they need other people around them. If you're an introvert, if you didn't know before, COVID taught you that. It taught you that. It taught you that real gut punch that being by yourself is cool. When the months started rolling by, you was like, wait, okay, I was good for a minute, but now I want to get out and be around people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Shura says, I get tired of talking to myself.
Yeah. It sucks because I understand it, right? No one wants to be hurt. But like I always talk about on my show, you cannot guarantee that you'll never be hurt, but you can guarantee that you can get better at figuring out what you don't need in your life. That's a you problem.
Absolutely. In the comments, a lot of people are talking about, I need to take that test. TK Chronicles said that as well. And I'm telling you, again, game changer. And she said that she subscribed to my IG. I will definitely post it there because but you have to make sure and go back and watch.
Just to piggyback on that, right?
Yeah.
The reason why this test is so powerful is because we go through our lives going through shit.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were able to go back and figure out why you attach to a certain type of person, then your pattern gets disrupted, because we all have pattern. We all have a pattern of a why. Like some people be like, I don't really have a type. You may not have a physical type, but you do have an attachment. Like what you attach to is the same, even though they look different. You're going there for a reason. So that attachment test lets you see what the hell your pattern really is. And is it good? Do you need to fix something? Or sometimes it's just acknowledging it, right? And it may take you some time to figure out whether you need to move. You might need to go talk to a therapist. You might need to figure out, because a lot of times, probably 90-something% of the time, it comes from your childhood. And that is an even bigger wound to open.
It sure is. Had me back in therapy. Had no idea. And also it will ask you questions about your attachment styles with your friendships.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they give a graph so you can go back and revisit it however often, 6 months, every year, just to see, if you've done some self-work, you've done some shadow work, you've seen a therapist, a coach like Derrick or myself, to see where the shift has come. And you can actually see on the graph where the trajectory goes up or down, or if you just still right here. And here, that's mediocre. Why not be great? Why not be great? All right. How about this? So let me share this. My ultimate guest that I will have on my podcast is Taraji Henson or Brandon Marshall. I've already manifested it. I know it's going to happen. Who is someone you want on Relationship Gumbo? If you had a celebrity.
That's hard for me.
Why?
That's really hard for me. I'm going to tell you why. And it may happen one day as this grows, but it's not top of mind for me. Here's the reason why. There's such a big part of me that feels, and it's partially because I'm empathic and empathetic to people in the human condition. There's a part of me that even through this brand, I want real people to see real people. I don't want you to just watch the show. I want you to see yourself in the show. I want you to see somebody that looks just like you. They might be in the same situation as you, and you could say, that's me. I realize now that I have to fix something. So for me, yes, a celebrity may come on, but it's not top of mind for me, because those people that come on my show, the people that's in my audience, y'all are just like me. It's not too many shows. It's not too many comments that I haven't lived. So I identify with that. So I'm always championing not just love, but I'm championing those who are often overlooked. I'm championing those who hide. I'm championing those who are so broken that they don't want to get up in the morning. Those are the people that if they're willing to share their stories, I want them up here.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. If a celebrity was to call you and they said, I've been watching you in these YouTube streets. I want to be on Relationship Gumbo. I need some dating advice. I need some relationship advice in my marriage. My wife is abusive, emotionally and verbally abusive. My husband's emotionally, verbally abusive. What? Who would that be? Derrick?
Still a hard answer, but I'll pick something at random. Because I don't look at celebrities the way a lot of people do.
Derrick.
I'm being honest. You can ask anybody that's ever known me from a kid. I don't do that. So I don't. I
Okay.
would have to
Who's your favorite tech person you would want to have on your show?
still another hard question.
Okay.
I admire people, but I don't hold any of them above the maybe that's something in me. I look at everybody like you have more money than me, but if I had to have somebody on the show,
Thank you.
I want to pick somebody brown, but I think maybe somebody that I could learn from, maybe Gary Vaynerchuk.
Okay, well, teach me something. I talk to me about him.
No, he's really like abrasive with how he teaches about business. But I learned a lot from him in business because he curses, because he doesn't really care, because he's rich. Like, he doesn't care. So because he doesn't care, it comes off really raw. And
nice.
I really admire the fact that he's being his authentic self.
Nice. For the podcasters in this comment box, and also if you had a podcast, I would love for you all to put in the comments on who would you want to be on your show. So Triumphant TV said he would want Will Smith. I like that.
Will Smith is cool. Like I said, I could probably, I don't know, maybe when I get off of here, I'll think of a random person, but I really look at the human side of people, and I don't look at them as necessarily, like, I'll go watch a movie, but I don't ever say, oh my God, that's Will Smith. I'm like, that's a dude. He made some moves, but am I going to be like, hey, let me get your autograph, Will? That chip isn't in me at all.
Yeah, and that's fair.
I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and get the autographs. How you doing, brother? I'll shake his hand, but that's just not who I am.
So for Tony said, I'm gonna make him cry. So I don't know if he's talking about Will Smith. Yeah, I'm thinking Will Smith. Tashura said she would have on Chef Jeff. All right, we are moving to the last part of this. We're gonna have some fun. People who listen to my podcast, I love to do flash round questions, rapid pace, Derrick. So I understand the analytical part of you, but we got to keep it popping. All right? Are we on board?
Let's go. I'm ready.
Let's get it. All right. Who are your top 3 rap artists?
You did this to me.
Yes, I did.
I got to go with...
You can go with 1 or 3.
Big Daddy Kane is number 1 for me. I'm old school.
Yes.
People normally would say, like, I don't know, I'll put Biggie in there, but I'm really like, I really track a little Big Daddy Kane, Biggie, and maybe Rakim. Like, that's my flavor.
I was listening to Rakim this morning.
Because as the analyst, I like lyrics. I love lyrics. So I'm going for the most lyrical people that I grew up with, because we could talk about who has lyrical skill. We could talk about Jay-Z and all of that, but I don't feel them.
You don't feel them. Well, do you feel like giving us some bars from?
Nope, can't do that. Cannot do that. Yeah, you did this to me before. No, because what happens when you on camera, you be having the brain like thing. We'll come back around to that. Let's go to the next question.
Next question. Here we go. Who's your favorite pod to listen to other than Relationship Gumbo or the Real Shop Talk?
Dang, you took the Real Shop Talk out.
Yeah, I sure did.
Favorite? I'll say this. You said not the Real Shop Talk, but you didn't say none of their podcasts. Okay,
that's what we doing, Derrick. That's what we doing. Yeah,
I keep my circle tight for real. Like I'm loyal as hell. Like I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts outside of y'all. I'm just totally honest. I don't.
Well, we're gonna expand a little bit, okay?
Yeah, let's go. I'm just keeping it real. I listen to my folks. By the time I listen to all y'all shows, it ain't no more hours in a week.
Erica wanted to know, why did you not choose the Migos?
Because that's for you, Erica. Erica's a trap music queen. She loved that stuff. I can't do it.
Oh my God. So we're not going to get any bars tonight. All right.
Not right now. How many more questions you got? I may do some at the end.
Oh, all right. All right. What do you do to unwind after the show?
Oh, wow. I don't even know if after the show.
After the show.
I normally go back and review the tape to see if I can do better. I always do that.
And after you do that, and after that,
I probably pass out.
Fair.
I don't have like a regimen, because by the time I get out, because you got to think full-time job, then I do this. Wait, as you know, when you do these shows and you unearth all of this stuff, it's like you done been to the gym for an hour. You be like, I'm so drained. And then you got to kind of, it takes something out of you when you sharing all of this vulnerability on the show. And then you get up. Yeah.
It really does. You know, after my shows, first of all, I have a full-time job. Then I play tennis for hours.
Yes,
or before COVID. Yes, I do. Or racquetball pre-COVID. After a show, I'm going right back over there. The bed. Rick said, Gunterman said, too funny and speak that this is true.
That's the one thing that people don't realize when you do this type of work, like when you life coaching and you, even when you're coaching people or when you're having a show and you have guests and y'all are pulling things, when you get off of here, it's you're literally physically exhausted. And
Absolutely.
People don't realize that, because when you share like we share, you have to give parts of yourself that you don't have to give when you at your job or when you hanging out with your friends. It's a whole nother part of you that comes out when we do this. And that's why I always tell people, you got to love this to the white meat, because you got to keep coming back and you got to pull from yourself to help people. And then you have to your point, I understand where you was going. You have to take some time to replenish.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll be on here till 1 a.m. creating and doing, like my brain is just keep going. So for me, my meditation is music, right?
Yes. Okay.
I'm a lover of old school R&B. I can play that until the wheels fall off. So like, I'm a hip hop head, but the old school R&B that, you know, people be having the singing bowls and the waves crashing. That don't do that. I need my music, and then I'm chilling.
Speaking of that, who's one of your favorite R&B artists?
See, I'm old school. I like Switch. I like Confunction.
Oh,
I like SOS Band. I like stuff like that, and I be vibing out, and then, you know, the 90s stuff too. But I just like that. I like because you got to think about, if you're a lover of lyrics, that's where you got to live. You got to live in the 70s, 80s, early 90s. That's where the meat is.
So speaking of lyrics, I want you to sing some lyrics from the SOS Band.
No, I cannot. When you do that to me on the spot, it's like I can't.
And that's why it's rapid fire question.
Boom. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll screw it up and it'll be on camera. So no, ma'am.
Forever?
No,
forever,
nope.
Forever,
ever. It's forever.
Just be good to me. That's right, Tisha.
Yeah, I eat up all that stuff. I'll listen to that all day.
Can you just tell everybody in one sentence, what's the name of your other podcast?
What do you mean my other podcast?
That you share with these wonderful gentlemen.
Oh, Real Shop Talk. Yeah, that right there is the gift that keeps on giving. And I could not ask for a better crew of gentlemen. Gunter Man, Tony Watts, Tony Massey, John Singletary. These dudes, and they'll say the same. We give a lot to each other and we get a lot from each other that we never, ever, ever expected. And you guys get to see that on camera every week. You get to see the chemistry. You get to see the laughs. You get to see some tears. Tony Watts brings the tears in. He's the tear guy. Everybody has their role.
Well, speaking of that, we still doing rapid fire questions. But before I finish, Erica wanted to know, so who will win with the verses between Jodeci and Drew Hill?
I'd have to pick Drew Hill over Jodeci. Even though I'm a Jodeci fan, I'd have to pick Drew Hill personally.
Okay, sing some bars.
No, we're not doing that. Stop. We're not doing that.
Okay, so with the real shop talk, gentlemen, if the microphone dropped, all of you all are in a room. Forget there's COVID. COVID's done. You all are in a room together, and the microphone drops. Who's gonna be the first man to pick it up?
Oh, Gunter Man, easily. Gunter Man.
Why?
Gunter Man, because Gunter Man is a performer. He's a showman. He knows how to keep the show going. That's his thing. He got that energy. He's grown up on stage. So,
okay.
You know, when you have him on your show one day, he can tell you that story. But he's a stage guy. So, and he's a DJ. So he knows all about how to keep it going. I didn't even have to think about that twice.
Well, that eliminates my next question, because I was going to say, if music comes on, who would be the first person to dance out of the real shop?
Gunter Man's a dead. He performed at concerts when he was in high school. Like, he's done. This dude has toured with all the, like, get his story on camera. That's a no-brainer. That dude will dance in his sleep if he could.
All right. Who's the quietest?
Maybe John Singletary.
Who's the loudest?
Loudest?
Loudest.
The most verbose is probably Tony Massey. If I had to measure loud on a decibel level, maybe Tony Watts.
Okay. There we go. So Erica said that John is the quiet one. And obviously he must be, because Tony's saying that too. Yeah. And to sure, I don't know.
Like, here's the reason why I can answer this so fast. Because we're on like episode number 13 or 14. So if you think one episode a week, that's only like 3 months. That's about how long I've probably known them, maybe slightly longer than that. So we have gelled so much and we share so much with each other. It's very this is what I always used to tell people about dating. If you ask the pertinent questions, if you spend the quality time and figure out the things you really want to know, you can get out of 3 dates what most people can get out of 15. If you ask the right questions, if you spend enough time getting to know the ebbs and flow of each other, it accelerates. And I think that's what happened with us. Like, we don't hold any punches. We're in the group text message every day in one way, shape, or form. And we get to know each other's personality off camera and on. So with all of that being transferred back and forth, it's not easy. It's not hard for me to tell you who does what, because we're all different. If we were all the same, it'd be hard, but everybody brings something distinct to the show, and we all have our roles. And even when, like in this case, the last couple of weeks, Tony Massey has been gone, and then I had to step up and do the behind the scenes stuff and the bringing the show on. And we all kind of, it all works somehow. I don't know how it happened, but it works.
How did you all meet each other? Up in these YouTube streets or what?
I think
I never knew this.
I know. Okay, so I think. Well, I know so I met Tony Massey from TikTok, right? Because he was doing a lot of relationship content, and I thought that we would gel. So I hit his DMs and asked him to come on the show, and he immediately says yes. And we connected. And then he was on Tony Watts' show, and Tony Massey couldn't make it. So he needed somebody to fill in for him. And then he recommended me. And then that's how I met Tony Watts. And on Tony Watts' show, I want to say John Singletary was on that show. And and then they can probably tell you how they all met. I think a couple of them were in a Facebook group together. And We did, and then Tony Watts and Gunter Man went to high school together. I think like it's a lot of different. Like there's no like if you was to plot this out, it would have never make sense how this happened. It just happened.
But you know what? It sounds like a great pot of gumbo.
Yeah, exactly. There it is. There it is. There it is.
It just works. Well, you know, we're going to wrap it up tonight. Everyone, you know, I see some people on now. I expect to see all these subscriptions going up. So,
yes. And everybody, I need for you guys to put a heart emoji in there because Ursula did her thing.
Thank you.
And this is what I need you to do. One day, we need to do this again, and we need to do the Billy questionnaire episode.
Derrick,
I can't think of anybody better to do it. As you affectionately say, "Goddamn Billy."
I want to say more, but yeah, you're right. That's right. I used to say, "Goddamn Billy." Oh, I do not like Billy. That is one of the most triggering episodes that I've listened to. You all, thank you for the hearts. I appreciate you all. Yeah, Billy. When I hear Billy's name, that's how I look. I can't stand Billy. Yes, I would definitely love to do that again for sure. And it will be triggering. However, it will be extremely informative. And especially after everyone takes that attachment style test, you will see Billy with your eyes closed. Your soul will see Billy. You don't have to worry about it at all.
Exactly.
But yeah. And you know, thank you for real. Thank you for letting me temporarily take over your microphone. This was
Anytime.
fun.
When you first said it, I was like, wait, how we gonna but you worked it out and it worked out. So I'm happy that you did it. I'm happy to be able to share. I'm glad it was you. Yeah. Because it's the thing. Here's the thing, right? You're a part of the network.
Oh, appreciate it.
Oh, like you didn't know. Come on now. You're a part of the net. Like Erica's on your show. Like everywhere you're anybody who connects to this spider web, you're a part of the network. So I would not have wanted someone to do this that wasn't a part of the network because we're building a community, a family, and all of that stuff. So that's why I said, and you and I have built a friendship over time.
We have.
And even though you be booked and busy all the time, you do check in. We do check in. And I was there when your podcast started, and you know, and you still going. And so it's amazing to watch everybody because we all kind of really like. Here's the irony in the Spiderweb network: we're all almost kind of starting in the same place as we grow.
Absolutely,
isn't that crazy? Like,
absolutely.
I haven't met somebody that's way, up. They got 2,000. Well, I think there's a guy that Quincy, but he's been doing podcasting for but there's no celebrity, there's no millionaire, everybody's just grinding it out.
Yes, sir.
And that's, I think, one of the biggest connective tissues here in how we help each other is we're all pushing each other up together. That's what's amazing about this thing, man. That's why I'm like, so if I meet you and Erica, Tashura, I meet the Shop Talk dudes, and we all just at the point where we just trying to figure it out and make it work, and we connecting and growing like this.
Absolutely.
That's magical.
Yeah, it's just like that analogy with the elevator I had heard, and it was so good. Like, you go to the top, but you make sure you go back down, get your village, go back up. Yeah. Back up and down, and just keep picking people up. Everybody's coming from an authentic place, and it's all love.
Yep.
And Alicia, this means a lot. Look. Wait, excuse me, wrong one. She loves the bond. That's cool. Yeah. Alicia for president. Alicia, when you come to Atlanta, girl, call me. Call me.
We try to get down there one of these days as a group. We're gonna try to figure it out. And Alicia was like, "You're not going without me. I'm about to figure this out." We all got to go.
Wait, hold on. Let me do this correctly. Excuse me, Derrick. Alicia, okay. Look, when you all come to Atlanta, I'm gonna give you my number. We're going to hang out. Now, I don't do clubs, girl, but we're gonna hang out. We have some cocktails. Derrick can go to the Civic Center.
Look at her comment. Her last comment.
Alicia said, "Oh wait." Okay, she said, "If I'm okay with not hanging with you all, I will rent." Alicia, I will take you to the rental car place, girl. I got a hookup. Are you kidding me?
See?
I got you.
But you know, we've been trying to get to Atlanta for a minute. So and you know, even like, you know, when you on social media and TikTok and they be having all them restaurants down there, and you be looking at it like, damn, I want some of that. So we gotta get down there.
Girl,
we gonna get it in. We're gonna, like, yeah. I mean, at some point, hopefully we can all meet each other at some point.
That would be amazing. We can have a
damn convention or some shit.
Oh, wait, Alicia said
we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to have some kind of thing somewhere in some city.
You
having
have
a damn
to.
host hotel or something and get it in.
Look, now this is real talk. When that happens, and you know, I throw parties. I'm not talking about throwing a party, but you know, I am an organizer. I will set up the hotels, everything, the rental cars, make it easy. One for you, one for Alicia. I got you.
You see, Erica say they got the good food in Louisiana.
Oh my God. So Gunterman said, "Count me in." Tony said, "That's coming." Tashura said, "Oh, that's gonna be lit." And yes, Erica. Oh, you know, Erica has to come down. That's my girl right there. Erica has to come down to A. Yes. So for all who do not know, I am broadcasting from Atlanta, the ATL. All right. Well, yeah. Tashura, you know what, Tashura? she's a. Oh, Alicia said that maybe Callie.
Oh yeah, she plotting her own schedule. we gotta follow with Alicia. Me and Alicia gotta get on some kind of vacation tour anyway. So
that would be lovely.
Yeah.
How did you and Alicia meet?
Oh, here we go.
You knew it was coming.
We met online on Black Planet.
I love it. You all should do a commercial. Wait, here's a question for you. Yes. Relationship Gumbo, 10 years. You have this conglomerate and you also have this $1 billion dating website matchmaking. What is the name of that service?
That is so beyond my scope.
Think about it.
I don't want to be responsible for matching people up because then y'all gonna blame me if something happened. So I wouldn't even know what that's called. That's not even top of mind for me, even 10 years from now.
Don't worry, I'll ask Alicia.
Yeah.
On that note, because she's your biggest supporter. She probably
she is
telling you or advising you what to name.
This thing would not be this without her. She's the one. She's the one that, like, if y'all want some Relationship Gumbo history, when I was doing those shows and I had all my little techie graphics on the screen and graphs and all of that and doing my college professor mode, she was the one that said, "Derrick, people been working all day. People got kids.
Yeah.
They don't want to think that hard at 8 p.m. You just going to have to take that stuff down and just talk to them and have fun." And that changed the whole narrative. I fought it for a minute. She'll tell you I fought it. I was like, no, they need to see all the stuff. I got all the toys.
But how did it make you feel when she told you that? How did that make you feel?
No, when she gives me advice, I believe it 10,000%. But it's
you can believe it all you want, but how did it make you feel?
It didn't make me feel like, it's kind of one of those things where I would say 99.999% of stuff she tells me is true.
Right.
About, because she's the one that sees me on the outside. So I take the criticism, but it still required me to change a very big part of who I had become because of me just being a corporate guy and assuming that I had to come off corporate. Just like, one of my aunts was like, you said the word ain't a few times on your show. You need to talk in this certain way. And I'm like, I get it, but this ain't that. This ain't that generation. I'm saying it on purpose. This isn't that generation where we had to perform for them. We had to act a certain way for them. This is me. And if an ain't comes out my mouth, it's if I say that's bullshit, this is me. And that's relationship gumbo, organic. And that is, I'm going to ride that till the wheels fall off.
I love it. I love it. TK, to answer your question, yes, Derrick said that they met on Black Planet. And
it wasn't on no dating stuff. It was just, we both were not looking for anyone, and I forget who it was, but one of us happened upon the other page and was just like, hey, I like your page, period. And then I think she was the one. She was the one that found me. And so I was like, I like your page too. And then it turned into a conversation, but it wasn't like, let me holler at you. It really happened organically.
So if I was to ask Alicia that question, would she say the same thing?
Well, if you ask Alicia will probably tell you that, she met me and saw me, and then like the heavens opened up and confetti dropped down. So, and I literally had to humbly say, I submit myself to you. And the confetti was on my clothes, and I was like, you got it. You beat me down. You begged me to come be with you, and I say yes. So
I love it. I love it.
No, she'll take, man. I think the magic that happened between us is that we both didn't expect anything. We just let it happen. So I think from day one it was mutual on both sides.
Nice. That's how some good spirit is right there. Well, you know what? We're gonna let Alicia's comment be the last comment because behind every great man is a greater woman. So Absolutely. We're gonna let Alicia close it out. But before I do that, again, please subscribe to the channels. Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. Listen on the audio podcast. Visit the website as well as Relationship Gumbo. Go to his website. Now that you all know who the mystery guest is, I can now put all the information in the show description box.
Oh, can I plug some things real quick and then we can go? I know it's past
Absolutely. No, I'm good. I'm good.
So here's what's coming up, guys. This is the whole community thing, right? The stuff I'm about to roll out, you're gonna be like, they do rock with each other. Tony Watts, this Friday, 8 p.m., Triumphant Media Group, live. I'm his guest on his show. And we just going to talk about Q&A, relationships, love, life. And we just going to go back and forth and just answer some questions about all of those categories between each other. So we're going to do that. We're going to have fun. Make sure y'all, I'm going to post it on my link in bio and my website or whatever. Tonight I'll have all the flyers up. So Friday, Tony Watts, right? Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Dope Discussions with Erica podcast with Gator Live. I'm the guest on that show.
That's my girl.
Triggers. We're going to talk about triggers. Then the Real Shop Talk on Monday at 8 p.m. We're going to have ladies night again. We got another cast of 3 ladies, and we're going to talk about this thing that people are fighting, the traditional woman versus the modern woman, and who we're going to talk about all of that.
That
mess.
Sounds good.
We're going to talk about that and figure out like what the hell is the problem. Like some people lean one way, some people are a hybrid between it. We're going to talk about all of that stuff. So we're going to get it in. So everybody, you see how it works. Like we help each other out. So, and then we got to get you on one of these things too. We got to get on your schedule because I know you be booked and busy, but we going to carve you out one of these days.
Little humble me? Really?
Yeah, you.
Okay.
And if not, like there's so many people in the network, it's going to be on a day when you free. We going to figure it out.
I will definitely well, as long as it's not on a Wednesday, because you see what we had to.
Of course.
Because everyone, right? Everyone.
Oh yeah. Gunter Man show is tomorrow at 7:30. Soapbox Stand Up and Speak on Instagram. We got shows, man. We got people with platforms and John Singletary has Help Myself podcast. Follow that. Tony Massey has Tony Massey Cooks. Tony Massey Speaks. He's doing his cooking shows, inviting chefs on there and talking about their brands and chefs. And he's doing his cooking on some. You catch him cooking on sometimes. So just follow everybody. Go to realshoptalk.net. Everybody's profile is there. We got a lot of magic happening.
I love it. Before we get off, can someone, if you don't mind, if you can put your wait, who is TK Chronicles of a Black Sheep podcast? Who is that?
That's another one of the folks that's now a part of the network.
I'm
gonna be on that podcast too. On I think the 25th, I think.
Well,
yeah.
So you all put down your websites. Like Derrick said, this is a community. I cannot do that now. I'm a little busy streaming.
Put all
live.
your stuff down there. Put all your stuff down there. Let's save some finger strength for Ursula. Yeah, I'm gonna be on TK's Chronicles on the 25th. So yeah, this is how this works, guys. So TK Chronicles frequents a lot of our shows, right?
Nice.
TK Chronicles then has me on her show. TK Chronicles now becomes a part of the network. That's how that works.
Seems like that door just opened up. I'm loving the spider web.
Yep.
And also let everyone know, after today, I'm strictly streaming only on YouTube. So you can go to my Facebook page to get, right? You can go to my Facebook page to get updates and event details. But as far as the live stream, strictly, no, not that. Strictly YouTube. And now I'm going to end with Alicia's, if I can find it. Oh, there it is. And if anyone doesn't know Alicia is Derrick's wife. And the lovely Alicia said, Derrick, I have your best interest all day. I want you to win with some hearts. That's all. Black and white in a world full of gray. That's beautiful, for real. Oh, I love it. I'm going to just leave that up there. All right. Any parting words? We ran late, but it was all worth it. Briefly, any parting words?
I'm thankful and appreciative of everybody that tuned in. I know y'all was expected. I was telling people somebody was pulling up in a limo by 7:30 to come. The mystery guest was coming, and people was like, "Who is it? Who is it? Who is it?" So everybody that stayed after you found out who it is, thank you. But yeah, I appreciate everybody that keeps coming back, man. All of everybody that supports the show, everybody that's a part of this spiderweb network that's growing exponentially, just keep this thing going. Mm-hmm. Keep it going. Keep connecting with each other. The amazing part about this spiderweb, and I'm gonna close with this. Ironically, everyone in the spiderweb is of the same mind and the same drive and the same vision. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't predict the future, but everybody appears and seems to have everybody else's best interest in mind.
Absolutely.
And it's magical because it's not like it's a gang that you get jumped in to join. But I think we organically emit a certain energy that allows us to connect with people that aren't here to hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you can see Erica on your show, and y'all are just getting it. You see Tashura on everybody's show, and it's just getting it. You see, Gunter Man and all these different people commingle with these shows, and we keep getting invited back because the energy works.
It does.
The energy works. So I'm happy for that. This is something that I know a lot of us on here, whether we thought we needed it or not, we're getting what we need from each other.
Yes.
So I just want to leave with that.
I love it. And to piggyback on what you said, that, everybody, you can be that pebble. So since this is Derrick tonight, his 100th, Derrick is the pebble. And when you throw that pebble out on a lake and you see the ripple effect, and that's what you see here tonight is the positive ripple effect. Yep. So
thank you again for hosting and doing a great job. And we will continue to talk, and we're friends in real life, guys. So you'll see her again. We just gotta pull her from her busy schedule, but we're gonna get her one of these days.
Tennis and racquetball are life. Lifting weights, that's life, but I get it. I can put the racket down for you all for sure. You all have a great evening. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good night. Special night, right?
Yep.
I'll end with this.
For the queen, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun-kiss goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti, black girl magic, melanin popping, whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a